Even though it seems that we've completed with that metaphor of the making of bread, its symbols can still be used. And you could say that we're now exploring the nature of the fire that bakes the dough, that makes the bread, that nurtures us and has the potential to nurture all of life. We can ask ourselves, what is this fire that we have? But there's a story of a very rich merchant, a very rich and illustrious merchant who had traveled the world in plying his trade and making his riches. And you could say that his wealth came from three things: his inheritance, his own ingenuity, and the mentorship of the King of Spain, who he had met in his many travels and who had given him great advice and assistance. But Travail hit him. His ships sank at sea. His warehouses burned down. And even his many friends, his relationship with them seemed to falter, and he no longer had a relationship with them. He was in dire straits, bereft. So in this state, he thought to himself that the only thing he could do was to go and seek the assistance of his mentor, the King of Spain. So living a great distance and having to cross a vast desert to reach Spain, he set out. But again, he was beset by bandits who took his donkeys. He was beaten up and left alone in the desert. His skin became burned, the color almost of charcoal. He had to seek the largesse of the odd Bedouin who he met across the way. But finally he reached the land of Spain. But of course, endeavoring to make his way to the palace where his mentor was, he did not have the facilities to do so. He had to get a menial job as a porter to earn enough money even to buy suitable clothing. And finally, he worked his way into a position in the kitchen of the palace. But having his dark skin, and it being noted that in his travels he had lost his finesse, the manners that he'd gathered along the way, the etiquette that was part of the life that he had lived. So when he sought to come into the presence of the king, it was deigned that not only was he not properly clad, but he also did not know the etiquette and the protocol that had to be followed in the court. So it took him 3 years to gain enough money to buy suitable clothing and to learn again the etiquette and protocols of that level, you might say. He was finally able to be brought before the king, who, not surprisingly, recognized him immediately, embraced him warmly, and sat him down beside him, asking about his life. And the merchant told his tale of woe, how his ships had foundered, taken by pirates, and all the rest of that long journey. And straight away the king called an advisor over to him, and he said, "Give this man 100 sheep. Let him become a shepherd." Now, of course, the merchant was somewhat taken aback by this, knowing the largesse that he had received previously. But what could he do? He had to accept this gift. But of course he did not consider himself a shepherd. But as he was told, he took his 100 sheep up to the top of a hill. But it was not long before a disease hit one of them, and then another, and another, and another, until all his sheep died. So he went on again to the king of Spain, who asked him how he was doing, and of course was told that all the sheep had died. So the king again turned to his advisor and said, "Give this man 50 sheep, and let him return to his task." So still not believing himself to be any kind of shepherd, the merchant took his sheep up to the top of the hill. But it was not long before a pack of wild dogs came along and attacked his sheep and sent the rest over the edge of a cliff. So, of course, the merchant, now a would-be shepherd, had to go back to the king of Spain and state what had happened to him. The king said to his advisor, "Give this man 25 sheep." Now, when the merchant took his sheep up to their pasture, something happened in him. Suddenly, he noticed the qualities of those sheep. He came to know very well the ways of the ewes, and in this changed relationship, the ewes not only gave birth to twins, but they gave rich milk. And very soon, after several years, he had sold and changed and crossbred his sheep and become quite wealthy. He was able to return to his mentor, the King of Spain, and when asked, "How are your sheep?" he said that he had prospered, and it could be seen from his garb that indeed he was now wealthy. In that moment, the king took out his sword and placed it on the shoulder of the merchant and said, "I now make you the monarch of the kingdom, the island of Malta." The merchant could not help himself. It burst out of his mouth, "But, great king, why is it that you did not give me this kingdom when I came to you Is it that I was not worthy? Is it that I had something to learn? And the king said to the merchant, let's just say, if I had given you this kingdom when the 100 sheep were given to you, there would not be a stone left standing on that island. This fire that we have that bakes the dough made from the experiences of our life, the ingredients that bring us wisdom. This fire, what has this story got to do with our endeavor to answer the question, what is this fire that we have?
It's attention. Attention.
Attention, yes, absolutely. Yes. And what comes with that attention? This intense attention that we have. What comes from it? In this story?
Being present on the moment.
Yes.
What's needed in the moment? You know, this comes through when we have that complete attention without the idea.
Yes. And what was the change that took place?
He became one with the sheep.
When he became one with the sheep. And what does that connote? What do these sheep represent for us?
All the aspect of life.
Life. Life. Life. Isn't it? Life. In all its myriad forms. So no longer we can speak of sheep with denigration and judgment. Isn't it so?
What about mosquitoes?
What about mosquitoes?
Mosquitoes and the like.
And cane toads.
I don't know.